All right. So the first step in the tech stack is sensing. We need to figure out where the performer actually is in space. So some initial attempts at facial and body tracking were completely unsuccessful for reasons that are probably intuitive. The biggest constricting assumptions of that kind of visual tracking is that either the performer is always facing the audience or their entire body is always visible, something that you can actually track. But if you want to pick up an actor from blackout, that means you need to already be tracking them in zero light conditions, right? So this kind of typical visual tracking isn't a super good fit here. So instead, I turned to a more reliable workflow that took inspiration from existing theater workflows. And that is by strapping these three infrared LEDs that you see here to a performer. In this case, this is my close friend Maddie, at the shoulders and head, and then restricting the camera light input to specifically that band of infrared light. You immediately reduce your tracking pattern to this super simple, 3 pin pricks of light against a high contrast background. And then training a cascade classifier on that pattern produces several benefits. The biggest ones being that it is functional in all lighting conditions, whether the stage is completely illuminated or completely dark. And it is much faster because it is a smaller and more simple detection pattern, and we can use tracking algorithms to speed that up even more. So using those KCF tracking algorithms, I was able to get reliably over 60 frame rates of tracking with accurate tracking measurements, which is well above the threshold of 10 frames per second that I set for myself at the beginning that would define a functional product. After this point, you do some simple interpolations based on configuration data, and you have your actor's position in space.